Captain's Log, Stardate 83002.5, February 5th, 2407. The Legacy has received crew assignments from members of other crews in the Nog fleet for a mission to a familiar yet mysterious planet in the Argelius system.
It is whimsical. I do not like whimsy.
You do like it when it involves slapstick.
Ah, I do like a good pie in the face.
You see?
The Esteban is here, sir. Good, ready for transport. Transport ready. Lieutenant Woods, beam them to the bridge. So, this is the Legacy.
It's very long. Neo Excalibur class, on loan from Starfleet, as they're still trying to rebuild following the incident 6 years ago.
Ah yes, the one where the Borg nearly destroyed the fleet, using youthful spirit as a weapon.
They've gone to warp, sir.
Good.
We were on the Chimera at the time, which is like the Academy.
You still won't stop about that.
Jeremy, I may be carrying Javon's symbiote, but I'm not him.
I know that.
Nonetheless, the fates seem to have brought us together again.
I hope it does not come to that.
Tej, I had no idea you called me here.
I didn't. I was assigned here. Now. Aw, did you two have a falling out? No. Yes. No.
Maybe it was just that he was too much.
I am an android. I do think too much. But then I was programmed to do that.
Maybe you should schedule an appointment.
Not right now.
What kind of planet is that?
It's supposed to be a pleasure planet called Argelius.
Over 150 years ago, it had a type of possession alien called Red Jack.
I guess that wasn't in the field guide.
Proximity alert, Captain. What is that?
It is debris from a ship or a battle.
Shields up. We appear to be approaching a swarm of unknown giant artifacts, and there is something very strange out there in the middle of it.
Scan for radiation.
The objects appear to be mildly radioactive, but not living.
It's as if someone left their junk out in space. It appears to go on a scattering toward the planet.
What in the prophets is that?
It is impossible.
The broken object just behind it may be generating the debris field. It's a red directive object.
Generating it? What is it? It's a progenitor's artifact, sir. Presumed hidden by Starfleet decades ago. How do you know that, Lieutenant? I was also Javon Tall. Well, my symbiont was. That explains it. The big one looks like a teddy bear. A really, really big one.
Ugh, it is cute, except for the damage to the outside of it. The right eye appears to be dislocated.
Is it alive?
It's an android, sir, but inactive. Very large, almost the size of our ship. Why, it's a giant Teddy Ruxpin. Oh, what? I mean, if Hasbro doesn't sue, it appears to be a very upscale version of the Ruxpin, as encountered in 2364 by the Enterprise D.
How did a 500-meter Teddy Ruxpin get out here?
Clearly somebody built it. We could beam over and ask it, or scan whatever bridge or brain it has.
If it is a copy of that ship, Astor would know more than I, as I wasn't born yet. I know from the logs that it annoyed Picard.
Scans indicate it has been adrift for over 35 years. Then the field is nowhere near the planet the Enterprise D encountered. Misfit Toys is in the opposite direction of the Beta Quadrant. Misfit Toys is in the Alpha Quadrant. You were in the Beta Quadrant. You've been to Misfit Toys, too. Yeah, we were there, but this is different. Someone over there is conjuring the field using unknown powers.
Q. I hope not.
Greetings, people from the past or future, I guess. From your perspective, I am Q. Oh, but I'm Mary Sue herself, Beckett Mariner. But you aren't Q.
Let's go to the briefing area with her.
Yes, that might be a good idea. Very well, let's sort this out.
She registers as a source of chronoton particles, but they are dissipating.
What ship is this? Don't you know? Aren't you a Q? She's a humanoid, Captain. This is the Neo Excalibur class Starship Legacy. You're in the early 25th century. Impossible. A moment ago, I was an old woman on the Discovery. I left the ship with Zora to remain there for centuries. The timeline screw up. They couldn't add, apparently. I have that problem with long division. Discovery was a ship? Starfleet erased all knowledge of the Discovery in 2258, and of the Spore Drive. I know what it is, because Section 31, which explains that sort of thing. But I'd make a terrible spy.
Yes,
She would. She would announce she's a spy to everyone.
Am I at liberty to say what happened to Discovery?
I don't say why it would matter. It's nearly 150 years later.
He knows how to math. He's a chief engineer.
A deadly computer AI called Control was going to destroy the Section 31-led crew, and then the Discovery, and the Enterprise. But we stopped it, and the ship was thrown into the 3180s. We'd been there for 4 years, and then we went on a quest to find something just like that.
The progenitor's machine.
That's right.
What became of this Control? I'm not Q. I don't know. The sphere purged Control and made our ship sentient. She's the Red Angel.
But I thought the Red Angel was a building at San Jose State Starfleet campus.
It's also a building on the campus.
Naming conventions, they ran out of ideas. Oh, they stole it from Starcrackers. But in that movie, it's another star system.
Hold up. How come you're here? You were in the artifact. You're the guide. This must be a test. You must have me mistaken for somebody else. I'm Wilson Ogura. Oh, excuse me. You look just like the progenitor guide. In this universe, I'm ship's counselor.
Is it possible she merely thinks she's alive and was regenerated by the artifact?
If I am restored, then so is Maul. We must stop her before she uses the progenitor's tech to find the brain. That is yet to happen. You are in 2407, Captain. We should deliver her to sickbay and have a scan. She seems disoriented from the space-time jump. Very well, I will allow it. Have her checked out. You called for me. A brain doctor without her helmet on. Not brain, a mycelium. Oh yeah, 2407. Maybe they know of others like brain then. My Orion features are sloughing off. It is a rare skin condition. Doctor, scan her and see if she's who she says she is.
Very well, sir.
We will discuss the situation. Engineering and sciences, scan the debris she came from. And tactical, see if this mole is out there somewhere.
Yes, sir.
These are Ariana Foster, our ship's mess cook, and Abby Woods, our new cadet in training and engineering at the helm. This should be interesting. Normally we have replicators, but I guess you decided to have real cuisine. I'll just go by Woods, it's not to be confusing. For now, there's another Abby on the ship. And this is Lieutenant Emoji Boys, the ops manager. My father's on assignment. They called for me instead. And my parents were in Starfleet. However, they decided to do something else. Yeah, they really weren't big into this silly trek thing. So you're our backups, basically. Gives us the opportunity to do other things on the ship. Yes, other things. I'm ahead of the both of you. We're kind of going to keep you in line, I guess. Yeah, you were sort of our instructor. More like a recruiter, but yeah, she was a little older than us already doing that. It must have been nepotism. Look who's talking. We're all descended from the Cillians from the church group in the 1990s, apparently.
Well, not directly.
They got us mixed up and Tam was created. Never figured that out. We were all born after the millennium, which makes us millennials. So it's like we're Starfleet Academy. Only way better than the one on Starship Discovery. Yes, stories with Kestra over there practically write themselves. I've never quite understood how the stories create reality, but they sort of do. And so this is more of an observational scientific mission. The trouble is the starbase here shouldn't really exist. And it does. There's no crew on it.
We must check that out. However, note that I do not know anything about the station. I was too young to have known what the Enterprise D was doing when it last encountered it.
Oh yeah? How old were you?
I was a fetus.
Now that's pretty young. Who knew a Klingon would have a sense of humor? Captain's Log Supplemental. Dr. Tendi has done a scan of our new guest. Well, we have not located her adversary just yet, but the dormant ursine vessel kaiju robot and the progenitor's artifact remain unmoving.
No sign of this Maul, but she has similar powers. She might appear somewhere else.
And her guest?
She is Michael Burnham, captain of the Discovery, a ship from the time of an alternate Columbia, which was superimposed onto the time of Ventura, which is the Enterprise.
Cillian timeline, Enterprise of 2150s, Earth should have never encountered the Columbia of a century later, but they did. We're here to discuss what she is. She has traveled through space-time many times, and has left traces of them, possibly as a traveler. This has taken a toll on her body, and she should not continue to do that. I don't know what a traveler is.
You know, like Wesley Crusher or Crewman Daniels.
Daniels. I do know of him. In the distant future, he calls himself Kovic. I would guess she was regenerated by the artifact along with her enemy, but we haven't found her yet. Maul was more of an antihero, as she told me her life story during a phaser fight on the Mirror Enterprise. It was in an anomaly. We thought we had an understanding. I will have asked her to investigate all of Discovery for clues about this, and about you. But for the time being, we'll have to keep an eye on you. Are you the girl from Lower Decks?
Yes, I am.
I like that cartoon. To me, the show ended in 2383. It's been a long time since. Almost 25 years.
If we could figure out when you got here, we might be able to find out how you transported yourself to our ship.
I thought I was Q-like and used my powers for an instant to come and land on your bridge.
Scans have picked up a breathable command area inside the animatronic ship. I shall lead a team to the brain and see if we can find out what it knows.
It's like Five Nights at Freddy's.
No, it's like Chuck E. Cheese. Five Nights at Freddy's was ripping it off. Chuck E. Cheese had the animatronic long before the guy ever parodied it, by decades.
It is true that Chuck E. Cheese existed from the 1980s to the 2010s, but the parody, Five Nights at Freddy's, some say a ripoff, was a video game that started in 2014. Know it all. Put together the team and have a look. Be careful. This mole could be hiding over there. Stun her if she strikes. So you're supposed to be Michael Burnham from the Discovery. Yes, in my timeline we disappeared into the distant future, partly because the fans became annoyed the ship was so advanced. I got a hunch that wasn't the reason. I've always maintained that there's a weird connection between us and the Starship universe, even there. But you're clearly not a Q, you're more of a Cillian. Why'd you think you needed to tell us you were a Q? I assumed my powers would make me a Q when I got here. Turns out I was a mere Cillian. The Q gave their Cillians their powers. I wonder how that worked. Also, I'm told that some of the crew of the ship visited your time period and hung out on a planet called Planet of the Fallen Ones. Maybe you've heard of it. Can't say I have. So you have heard of it. It was classified. We didn't want it getting back to the past. What became of your crew? In what I perceived as another timeline, I returned from the anomaly and everyone just grew old, and some of them died. Well, you're in the past, my present, so there'd be no record of the crew here. Cillians think their thoughts create reality. All I have to do is wish for them to come back, and then I'll be there. I don't think that's how it works. The Cillian realm is not as overpowered, apparently, as it was in the future. It should be. I met one of the Cal Hazels. He came aboard my ship. Ah, descendant of Cal Hazel. Interesting. Oh my. There was another Cal, a So-Cal. He was a Calpian, and he started the burn by accident. I didn't know the Kelpians were part of the whole Cillian thing. Maybe here they're not. You must be honest with us and the crew, so I've been trying to figure out how to send you home. Well, I don't believe I've ever been to this star system. Let's work together to figure this out. You do remind me of that progenitor. What have you got? She's from the past and from the future. Some sort of paradox. She's honest about it. She just didn't know what to do and confront it with us. Did the artifact bring her here? I believe it did. We don't know enough about her. We could do some scans, and I'm sure the doctor will. But the more we know about the future, it could affect the timeline. We don't want Section 31 snooping around. They just get in the way. You'll be sending Alexander on the away mission. I investigated the appearance of that giant teddy bear thing. If it's inert, they'll be all right. The crew was already getting antsy lately. I'm not sure what it is. Perhaps I should have Kiriyoshi and engineering do some scans of the outer hull of the ship as well. As you wish. I will see to the morale of the crew.
Our guest is a little perplexed, because I'm the sassy girl around here. This place is weird.
Funland, sir.
I do not like fun.
A theme park from our alternate timeline. They built creatures like this, but they're robots.
Funland was an attempt by Cillian children with Q-like powers to have their own Disneyland, and because Chuck E. Cheese was also a thing, they got combined, and Transformers, G.I. Joe, and Robotech.
An 80s nostalgia fart.
Funland built this. Why?
To amuse themselves.
But Alexander doesn't like fun.
No, a warrior should not be distracted with games.
I don't know. You like playing games of sport. I have a sport. I craft things. But it's not a competition sport.
A sport must be a competition using mental or athletic prowess.
Physical exertion?
Exactly.
I think I found the control panel. This reminds me of the emotions inside the head of that little crazy girl in that movie.
I loved that movie.
You're a robot. You don't have emotions.
Yes, I do.
Now, you both obviously have emotions.
They're on the outs.
Yes, but stop looking at me like that.
Like what? You know. Sorry, it's just that Javon.
My symbiote is still part of you, but I'm still conflicted, let's say.
We must stick to the mission.
That might be futile.
But she broke up with me for being late.
I told you to get there half an hour early so you wouldn't be late.
Quiet.
What did you say?
We are not alone, over there.
Cloaking field.
Come out of there. We can detect you. Yes, come out. We know you're not a ghost. Ghosts are usually not spirits, but alien tech being used.
We have you covered. Come out. We will not harm you.
Who says I won't harm you? What is this place?
It is a giant teddy bear-sized spaceship. I know you wouldn't believe me, but it is. You can go outside and look for yourself.
Not without a spacesuit.
Who are you?
You first. You look like an earlier version of Starfleet.
You traveled in space-time through a machine out there. It beamed you here.
I am Maul, married to the Brain Air Locke. But he died.
We think the artifact restored you, along with Michael.
Michael is alive?
You will not harm us.
A Klingon. Well, mostly Klingon. Maybe a third human.
Very astute. My mother was half human.
I will conjure a blaster and destroy you all. You will see. Here.
Something's supposed to happen? We're watching.
The programmable matter doesn't work here. Oh, for crying out loud. You have traveled 784 years into the past. Now you must be Maul. I am Tam Tal. Grey Tal and Adira Tal's ancestor. Ugh. Arrest me now, Starfleet.
Starship Legacy. Prepare for transport at once.
I've called this meeting for the brief on your return to the ship. How did you find her over there? They're acquainted, apparently. Yeah, and I gather they don't like each other. She was trying to restore her Breen husband inside the artifact when it killed her. How did somebody from hundreds of years in the future get here? How did either of you get here? My guess would be the artifact. A very powerful device, which should not be in the hands of novices, apparently.
This is Mole, but our weapons do not function here.
Good. I am Captain Beckett Mariner of the Legacy. I am Malene Ravel of the Booker clan of Quaijan. She's a bit of a drama queen. Look who's talking. We wouldn't be in this mess if it wasn't for you. She's humanoid, Captain. When her powers are Cillian, martial sportist. What are you babbling about, Breen lady?
I'm an Orion.
So am I. So what's martial sportist?
She's a COL from the future. I suspect her planet Quaijan is a spelling of Quaijan Kim, Grandmaster Kim's other title, one of many.
You speak the holy words. How could you know of them? Doesn't matter, though. The planet is decimated. No, in my vision, Booker and I grew old on a new sanctuary planet, and everything. You should kill her while you have the chance. I must go back to my husband, Booker, named for the other Bookers, and whom we have a son named Leto. Leto? Like in Dune? Are you sure you're not a Cillian? We also have magical worms and mushroom drives. The Mycelian network. Oh, God. Ah.
Tej, the star chart.
Yes, sir. Your planet was near what will be Orion Realm in your time, so we checked. Keptera and Key Draconis could appear to be analogs for those planets. TMS planets in our time, but given 800 years, yeah, that's about right. I belong back in 3191.
We have no way of knowing how you got here, but if we can figure it out, we can both go back.
We had checked the data on the things we found. From our perspective, your show was cancelled, and you were killed when the Breen mothership destroyed you completely at the black holes. All of my friends and crewmen are gone, from my perspective, so I have nowhere to go. They're just guessing. They're lying. It's possible the Presenter's machine took pity on you and copied you. She is pitiful. This is my ship. I crack the jokes around here.
I wasn't kidding.
Now, let's behave like adults.
In the classic time period, the Enterprise of 2267 encountered Red Jack here. It tried to drive Scotty mad.
The system has been a Federation member for a century and more since. No sign of the Vanguard or other ships out here. Nothing out here.
And this is the Argelia system. Loose binary system with outlying farther star and a starbase 185 in orbit of the farthest star. We lost all communication with the station, which is our reason for coming here. The station is completely deserted.
The debris is from a battle involving the station. The primary is a white subgiant and the closest planet to its Class M because of the preservers. The system is only 1.7 billion years old. Q brought the Enterprise D here in 2365, and then they went on to the Delta Quadrant.
The Borg have a conduit there.
Great. Maybe the Borg did this.
Doesn't seem like they're doing. They mostly assimilate and leave debris. This is just like some cosmic baby left his toys adrift after a tantrum.
You wouldn't think that. Oh, why did I say that? What's going on with me? Excuse me, sir, I'm not feeling all right. What's happening? Something's not right. I didn't do it. Not this time.
Very astute.
It's not really like them to act like that. Maybe they want to talk about it. They don't want to talk about it. Nobody wants to talk about it. It's everywhere. Oh, what am I saying?
Okay, then.
Is it getting hot in here? Oh, it's so hot in here. What is going on? Nothing. That is not between us.
Nothing. It's nothing.
Well, that certainly isn't. Excuse me. Well, whatever it is, it doesn't concern us during the briefing.
No, sir. Perhaps they should go to sickbay.
You think so?
I'll go if he goes with me, so I can keep an eye on him.
What's the matter?
Although my emotions are less developed, I can understand there's something wrong. Please tell me.
It's just that, go away. Oh, I can't take it. Oh, I want to be alone in my own thoughts right now. Not your thoughts. They can't read minds, I take it. She's speaking in hyperbole.
Get hold of yourself.
It's his fault. Stop and pay attention to me.
What is going on, sir?
I'm not sure. Medical team to the briefing room. Perhaps they picked up some kind of contagion over there. Nobody comes, nobody goes until we have a full checkup diagnostic.
I would say they're acting inebriated, but they do not drink.
It's true. I suspect that I cannot handle liquor. Well, now I know what it'd be like if you were drunk. What's going on here? They're acting irrationally, and they started snapping at each other, more so than usual. Everyone to sickbay. I'll have you all checked out, and make sure there's no kind of weird virus or contagion or something. Well, so much for the meeting. Everyone report to sickbay on the double. A nurse, more samples. Scan the database for examples of this. Yes, sir. This is not like them, so clearly they're under some kind of alien influence, and we need to find out what it is.
She started it.
I didn't start it. I was trying to help. Whatever it is, they've got it bad. I haven't sensed it with my Orion abilities. Now, who started it, really?
I started it, because she looked at me funny.
I was only trying to get your attention.
Well, someone was. It certainly wasn't me, since she's now a she, and that doesn't sound as appealing.
Why, you, my symbiote, is gender neutral. Gender and sex are different. You can be born either way, but cannot feel either way.
Preach it, sister.
Well, it was Pride Month when we were making the story. Wink nod.
I cannot lie. I'm an android. I was not trying to get your attention.
Yeah, he does. He got emotions now. He's jealous.
That is quite unlikely.
Sarcasm from a robot.
I didn't mean it.
Please stop it. You're sounding like drag queens. Settle down. Oh my, the scans are weird. What's the matter with us? We need to quarantine the landing party and anyone that came into contact with them immediately.
A virus. Not a virus.
It's more like a mycelium fungal infection. This isn't the space spore planet. That's Omicron setting. It's also exhibiting nanite properties, but of a type I've never seen before. We need to run more tests. The stress alone could drive them loopy. Why is it so hot in here? Ugh.
It isn't hot in here. It's fine. You're just a brat.
I am not a brat. My symbiote is over 350 years old. I think this is an excuse to keep us here, and I want out.
Fascinating.
Nyeh, what's up, Doc? Very funny. I do believe their serotonin and dopamine levels are off the chart. And their norepinephrine, estrogen, and testosterone and hormone levels have peaked. So it's like the drunk, angry, and horny. Well, this planet is near Orion space, but we can rule out my influence.
Something on the alien ship infected us.
It's possible.
Captain, come in. I need to run some tests on Berman and Mole. They might be carrying a pathogen. Let's deal with an intruder ship first, but then we'll be right down. Understood, but don't be gone long. No telling how many have caught it.
Report. Proximity alert, Captain.
An airship shaped like a Cheshire cat in space.
I saw something like that in one of my dad's cartoon books. You would.
Yes, well, there's that.
Life signs. One male, Borg signature, but ordered and mathematical. Even the nanoprobes are made up to form ordered things on the hull. Yellow alert. What do you think it is?
I'm not sure. Could be anyone. The board. They have been. Oh, you meant the Borg. But not with the cute, tall, handsome dude. He was married and has 2 kids.
And the grandpa one?
He's also married. Gross, cringe. Professor Cal Hazel is single. He's not even a professor. It's honorary. Heck no. Read my lips. Heck no.
Ladies? Sorry, Captain. Suck up.
Ladies.
Sorry, Captain.
Sorry, Captain. I have no idea what came over me. Is it hot in here?
The alien ship is posturing, but not in an aggressive way.
Should we open a hailing frequency?
On screen.
Greetings, Federation Starship Legacy. I'm Roger. Roger Math.
I'm Captain Mariner, related by marriage to Weimler.
The Calhoun Captain. Very well known. His mentor had been Mac Calhoun of the Excalibur. We went through death and life together. What? Just what's going on? You stand perplexed and mouth agape at my superior genius, as I am like Wile E. Coyote. Who? What? Christ, I'm old. You probably have no idea who that is.
It cannot be him. Oh my goodness, little Alexander, you've grown into a strapping young man, haven't you? He's an ally of Sam Clerk of Clerk, Picard Clerk copy. The one from Pine Hill.
He's a Cillian.
Ah, Sam Clerk. I do hope he's well. We're getting a bit on in years. I right now am approaching 63, but admittedly, I don't look a day over 53. My father told me that he's a Cillian, the first to leave the collective and the role-playing game of the children in 2364. I was told this. Ah, Worf, we should compare notes.
Why are you stalling so much? Just get on with it.
I am Roger Math of Board, first of the Borg, before 2365, and I need your help. I would not admit it to myself, but I do.
You're one of the first Cillians.
You probably have other concerns. I'm sure you noticed the space vessel out there.
A giant teddy bear ship.
The late Kivas Fajo gave me that. Do you like it, or do you want to purchase one of your own? No, that's all right. You really should come to Argelius, too. The station crew you're missing might be there. He is stalling. I will leave you to your ship and crew for now, but I will return. He left.
Yes, well, we should see what's going on in sickbay. Could be trouble with the crew.
We will keep an eye on the alien ship and this Roger.
Well, the good news is it will not infect the rest of the crew. It's a fungus. No spores on board, but we should check their uniforms and clean them at once. What is the bad news? I have no idea they got into the alien ship and cannot come up with a cure. I've tried the antidote Dr. McCoy whipped up for Spock on the other planet, and it didn't work.
It's light years away from here. How could Picard and crew have claimed the starbase was years away from Starfleet? It wasn't even days away.
What are you on about?
During the Q encounter, Data and the others thought it would take years to get home from here.
Q is probably messing with the sensors. Why am I even here? I should be dead. You were brought back, but I refuse to think that somewhere else I'd died. You should be dead.
Why, you?
Stop that. The ship already has a sassy black woman. Michael, stand down.
Sorry.
Michael scans out as double the aggression of the others, huh?
No shit.
Your pouts are cute, but we're not into that. I'm married, but he died. Ah, lock of the brain. You told us. You look like a brain. It's a skin condition. Oh, sorry. I scanned myself. No sign of the pathogen. I'm just angsty. Give me a break. Do you have Cillian powers?
I don't know.
That would be a yes, but they're dormant. What's happening to us? You and Maul have the fungus. It must have tracked it over here. I can only treat it. We must figure out who tried to weaponize the spores and why. Except we're not sure what's happening. They will continue to be more aggressive until it destroys their minds. We must find a cure. Zeldanian Nintendosis again.
Could be.
This wasn't a spore-borne antiviral. It was a different type, spread through moisture and any contact. Fortunately, it's not that transmissible. I want out.
No, Kestra.
I'm tired of being second string to you. I'm leaving.
No, don't go out there. You spread it to the rest of the ship.
You just want to go out there instead of me. Pay attention to me.
What? You've got it bad. What are we having this time?
Circassian lobsteroid.
But they're still alive.
They're best when served live. The cook will chuck them into a boiling pot shortly.
I see. I didn't realize.
Ah, these little beasties are going to be boiled right up. It'll be glorious.
Do I have to say any last words?
No, you can grimace wider. It sometimes helps.
But this one looks sad. I cannot eat something that looks sad.
Landlubbers. No. The spores. The spores.
What is wrong with her?
They're coming for me. Hide me.
You aren't well. What happened?
Then Tej is acting like a robot again. No fun there. I need emotions. I have feelings. Yes, you do, but that's different.
Don't let her touch you. Here, have my Circassian lobsteroid. Oh, so cute.
If you say so, but in a minute, it's gonna be boiled.
No, not that.
I'm gonna have to sedate you. She's one of them. No, not that.
What's the matter? Is it suddenly really warm in here?
Oh no. There is an infection. Fungal. Don't touch the lobsteroid or her.
There she is. Oh, great. Now this room is at risk.
Kestra is resting, and Kiriyoshi and Deborah are clean. Not sure why.
Maybe it's something they were eating. Like, this is eating me, and I want out too.
No tease, you will infect the crew.
The chief engineer needs to be in engineering.
Yes, but if you start coming down with it, get back here.
Suppose it is something we were eating, Doc.
Circassian lobsteroid, but you haven't taken a bite yet. Hold up. I'll call Foster. Galley? I need one of those things, uncooked immediately. Normally we boil them first, Doctor, like a lobster. I'm not going to cook it. Huh. What? You're on to something.
I'm a genius sometimes. Not often, but sometimes.
Now we need a sample of that spore culture. Now to see what happens if we mix. Scanning.
What do we have?
The Circassians are famous for their cats, their felines, and their lobsteroids. Cats are normally pets, and lobsters, well, you eat those. It so happens that Circassia is a planet with relatively low fungal issues. So the lobsters can cure them? Not cure, but slow down the infection. Ironically, boiling them probably renders the enzymes inert. You need me to find more live ones?
Maybe.
I think we can synthesize an antidote, but we'll need more. Where is Circassia? I don't think I've been there. It's not on another planet. It's on the Earth. See what you can do from here. I'll continue looking for answers with the other crew. Look at me, I'm Sandra T. What the heck is wrong with me?
Is that Javon talking or you?
I'm not drunk, it's a fungus among us. Get it? As in among us? What's that, Art?
You wish to have an audience with me? Excellent. Well, I can assure you that I have no weapons of mass destruction on me. None at all.
That is good to know.
If you know where the station crew are, hand them over immediately.
Then you will help me. But of course.
I have some questions first.
I am. It's a long and weird story. Short answer is I was bored of the Cillian games the boys were playing, and so they turned me into a villain in their game. Next thing I know, I was in space with them.
You were given powers along with the silly children.
But of course I was. I was, after all, the superior one in the room. And he's modest, too. Very funny. You do have a singular wit.
What do you intend to do with my crew?
I haven't decided yet.
What did you do with the station crew?
Oh, the station crew. Yes, well, they left on their own accord. They were all getting very silly, and the next thing you know, they were all taking off.
I bet you didn't even lift a finger to try and stop them.
Why should I? I have everything I need on my planet. Actually, there are 3 habitable planets in the system. Weird that there should be, considering it's a trinary, and the star system mass and all that stuff. Either that, or in Star Trek is just not very good with names, and just kept using them repeatedly. You know, like Terrellian and Rigel, Denham and Altair.
You left behind some kind of contagion on that spaceship out there. We need the antidote immediately.
A contagion? I know nothing of that.
That answer gives me no comfort.
Nonetheless, it is the truth.
He's certainly full of himself. I suppose he's had no one ever question him.
Sadly, the Q leave me alone. They seem annoyed by me. And I'm, of course, a genie, after all.
How does that even work? You're not an Elorian. You're a silly from the Cillian Earth.
It's a complicated story as well. Know this. Whether I tell you it's only partly the case, for my own benefit.
Well, it's a good thing we came here when we did, Roger Math. You must hand them over this instant.
Well, first of all, I'd have to know where they all went, wouldn't I? And I don't.
It was more like a fungal infection, except instead of making them sick, it made them aggravated, more useful. You know, teen spirit, basically. Well, that is cringe, as the kids would say. Yes, it does. But I suspect this guy's not telling us everything.
I just got here. Telling you everything would be pointless, and resistance would be futile.
Well, if you're not going to cooperate, we'll find another way. Perhaps we should have a look at your planet.
Which one? I have 3. Yes, 3 planets. The second planet is in orbit of the smaller star, the larger planet in orbit of the bigger star, and the other large planet is in orbit of the third, yes.
He means to distract us, but why?
We are to steer clear away from members of his species, a Cillian offshoot called the Board.
My forces out here are not large. I could not launch an invasion of the Federation, if that's what you're thinking.
No, your airship is only a crew of dozens. Their spaceship is just shaped like an airship.
Very astute. You must get it from your mother's side.
You never met her.
On the contrary, Kaler was very learned. I've totally met her. In fact, and she went to visit Worf that day that you were conceived. Evidently, I actually had just had a meeting with her, discussing her Jillian swamp rats.
That's nice.
I shall tell you why I need your assistance. You see, this planet is very lonely and in need of other people, of companionship. You know, it's kind of like we just don't have enough people to hang around with.
And just what would that entail? Being captured by you and having our crew go to your planet?
Why, yes, your entire crew will abandon ship and come to the planet. You'll be drawn here. Beam me up, Scotty. You know, the classic show that never actually said that. Until the JJ films. Energize.
I recommend we raise shields and go to red alert.
Raise shields, go to red alert. Ship's letting loose some kind of energy field, heading this way. It's technology. Why isn't he using Q powers? He's evidently not as powerful as he lets on.
The energy field will not penetrate our shields.
If he's an early boar, maybe this is his way of assimilating the ship.
How's it gonna work, sir?
I don't know. The biofilter should work. Why is it so hot in here?
Increase biofilters.
The biofilters are not responding. Some sort of energy weapon. So this is the planet where an energy creature attacked the Enterprise under Captain Kirk. Suppose he's found a way to use the power. I still say it's technology. Alright, modulate our shield frequencies. Keep him guessing. And it's suddenly getting cold in here. How did he get that thing through the shields and the ship's atmosphere? His ship is departing at warp for the second planet. He wants us to go there. I wouldn't let him. We're not going after him yet. Keep modulating shields. Have engineering try to figure out what's going on.
He does not like whimsy. He's not doing this just to be bizarre.
His device goes through the shields like they weren't even there. I wouldn't modulate them, it stopped. Some kind of quantum tachyon field. Not tachyons, too fast. No, neutrinos. Scan the ship for neutrinos.
You think the particles are passing right through normal matter as if they're not there.
Almost if programmed to do so. Tej and Kiryoshi will go to engineering and try to figure out what's going on here. Hope they're up to it. Make it so, Mr. Woods. The sooner we figure out what's going on here, the better.
I will remain here. If anything strange happens, I will report it.
All right, but I suspect we may have to pay a visit to that planet. I want to be prepared for anything. However, let's go to the assignments. I want to learn more about this Roger Math creature. Do we know anything more about him? I know scarcely little. We haven't seen him in years.
If he's like the board, we must be prepared for anything.
Report.
An artificial fungal infection, space mushrooms, artificial space energy cloud attack. The sophistication here is quite extraordinary.
So the fungal infection here is not technically natural. Oddly enough, it is not.
The human body should reject such a thing. It's completely unnatural, but it mimics the human cell structure as well, and infects us. I haven't seen anything like that, not even in the distant future. I have. I know I shouldn't be in this room with you guys, but programmable matter ran from our time. That's like this, way too similar to be a coincidence. So it's a bit like the nanoprobes of the Borg.
He did claim to be the first of the board.
Maybe it's more like Patient Zero. I investigated that also. In the 1980s, in the Cillian Pineal, as according to their planet, that is, there was an alien who infected the crew with Zeldanian Nintendosis, named Boy George Michael Jackson. It's possible this character, Roger Math, was in cahoots with him.
It probably wouldn't cause him to act like that, but I suppose.
It's probably more likely that this Roger fellow created Boy George Michael Jackson using genius technology, amalgamating disparate characters from the 80s, a guy named George, a guy named George Michael, and a guy named Michael Jackson. Transporter technology. He made some kind of mutant.
Which would be impossible, but this is Sicilian space, so there's that.
He said he was lonely. Sick bay to the meeting room, come in.
Go ahead.
Tam and Kestra have run off. They forced themselves past the guards and left sickbay. Security, go and find them. I tried that. They set up some kind of force field.
I'm of course unaffected as I am an android, but also just curious as to why Kestra would be infected as she is an android. Perhaps the oil model is not as susceptible to the virus. I didn't think of that.
Well, don't just stand there. Go get them.
It isn't my ship.
Must escape to the artifact. Must go. Must go to ship. Must go. What are you guys doing? Get away from the transporter. Must go. Resistance. Want attention. Crave years of attention. What is wrong with the two of you?
There they are. Do not use the transporter.
Must go. No longer love him. Must go. Resistance is futile.
No.
Abby, stop them. I tried, Abby.
Must go after them.
At last we are here. Yes, all youth must come here. All of us must come here. How did we get transported?
I had to follow.
You didn't have to follow. We all followed them. We must bring all of them over. We must even bring Emoji here. No, we must not bring Emoji over. She knows too much.
We have found the vessel.
And the children shall lead. It was the title of a Star Trek episode. I know that. I've never seen it, but I know. Resistance is futile.
There is a life form with us.
We shall attempt to bond with it. We must make contact. We are the board.
Ah yes, come friends. Who are you? I have been called many things. I'm an insufferable man-child. It was wonderful. One may call me Charlie X or Charlie Evans. You are the Charlie X. It makes sense. A planet where there are toys littering everything. But of course, I am Charlie X.
What do you want with us?
Why, to play with me.
Fascinating. He appears to be a humanoid with energy powers, similar to that of Q.
What was that old song? I'll pass it. Come dream with me tonight. You are now my guests.
Wait a minute. My head is clearing. Mine too. Who is this guy? Release us, Charlie X.
The Federation will figure this out. Capturing Starfleet people is a crime.
He's a similar lonely alien to the Roger Math we encountered. And who was the one in the tank?
That is Red Jack. He was being mean, so I dealt with him.
Oh no, I think I know who this guy is.
You do? Who is he?
He's a very powerful alien entity encountered by the original Starship Enterprise under Captain Kirk. And in a completely other solar system, he attempted to take over the ship. Why do they always want to take over the ship? What are they going to do with it? They're just one guy. They never think that far ahead.
Perhaps the antidote for the spores is kicking in, or at least rendered inert somehow.
I no longer need to lure you here.
We're not going to remain here and be your playthings.
That'd be cringe.
What is this place? Where are we?
You're inside a giant duplicate replica of an ursine bear toy from Funland. You will remain here as my pets until I deem you unworthy. Hope that I do not deem you unworthy soon.
Report where they beam to. They seem to be aboard the giant Teddy Ruxpin ship. One other life form is with them.
Can we get a lock on them and beam them out?
No, they have set up some kind of modulating force field.
What kind of sadistic creature built that thing? It was probably intended to be part of a fun park. Just kind of got out of hand, you know. Like Five Nights at Freddy's, except earlier than that. Five Nights at Freddy's was only pretend. Chuck E. Cheese was the real deal, from what I heard.
So from what I'm told, the animatics were frightening.
In my timeline, it was something like that, called Funland. It was sort of a spoof of Disneyland, crossed with Chuck E. Cheese, and the virtual reality simulator. Got out of hand, and the robots tried to eat the guests.
Like Jurassic Park, with toy teddy bears and toy rats and things, only real.
We need to get them back. I suggest the antidote won't last forever.
It will not, but we ought to know whether we're dealing with Roger or someone else.
Doesn't seem like his style.
I'm the foremost expert on the surrounding here. Now that they're over on the other ship.
The antidote's only lowering his symptoms. He may become irritable again.
I'll be fine.
What are we dealing with, Mr. Astor?
We appear to be dealing with Cillian man-children again, but different ones.
Man-children.
According to the Starfleet database, there was a space-time rip during the first mission of the Enterprise D. The ship encountered the Enterprise A from another time, and a giant Teddy Ruxpin.
It is the same ship.
It's possible the natives rebuilt it, but it's more likely it's just another version of the ship.
You think this Roger Math has been here since the 2360s?
No, his last known appearance was in 2381 during an incident involving the planet Flodi in the Enterprise E. I've also investigated this planet during the time of Captain Kirk. One of his officers was accused of killing several people on the planet. It turned out it was an alien creature behind it called Red Jack.
We have not directly detected anything like that here.
I checked. Indirectly we have.
Suppose a sophisticated and genius enough creature figured out how to use the energy creature's powers as some sort of catalyst. They could infect an entire Starship crew and force them to do their bidding.
Or force an entire station crew to leave the station.
There were an awful lot of energy creatures and demigods that Captain Kirk encountered. There could be any number of them, but Math is from the era of Captain Picard. Math said he needed our help. Seems quite concerned about something else. I've done a scan of the synthetic spores and also a scan of the other synthetic device that was used to shoot neutrinos. They're from two different sources, two different manufacturers. One of your demigods is a little more powerful than the other. One is overcompensating, using technology to get what he wants. It's a male entity I'm sensing. How can we use that to our advantage to get our crew back?
I shall pay this Roger Math a visit. With your permission, Captain.
I'll allow it, since clearly he kind of respects you. You may go with the vessel. Bring him back. Dismissed.
I'm inside the Starship. Getting through their shields was not that hard. You, Alexander Ashenko, how'd you get in here? I modulated the transport beam. Well, how'd you get here? I'd like to tell you about what's going on. I do not have time for games. Some of our crew has been taken by an unknown source.
Oh, he collects you.
A collector of what?
He's an older, more powerful space being than me. He captures ships and crews and makes them his toys. I presume you've assessed that. One of the reasons I need your help.
You did not send the synthetic spores.
No, I sent the nanite things to cure the spores.
How do we know you're not making that up?
The older alien is annoying. He's a pest. And he thinks he knows more than me. But on the curve of intelligence, he actually doesn't. It makes him more dangerous.
Who is this collector, and how do we stop him?
His name is Charlie X, or Charlie Evans. Essentially a member of the early version of Q.
Them again? Really? How disappointing.
Just don't get bored. If your crew gets bored in any way, they'll be attracted to him.
Young people are often bored. Oh no.
I can assist you, but only because it suits my purposes. You cannot take the planet back. No one can.
Who brought you out here?
After an incident 26 years ago, I went out in search of my destiny.
Your destiny? What are you talking about?
Legacy, Mr. Alexander. Did you ever procreate?
That is private.
Yes, well, of course it is. But I do too. Yeah, I left them behind. I've been looking for them ever since.
The creature took them, didn't it?
You are smarter than you appear, Mr. Alexander.
That is not a compliment.
We would keep running into each other.
You remind me of my last fascinating encounter.
Don't press your luck. How are we going to get my people back?
I can see why Brad Boimler married you. Anyway, let us see what's going on here.
You know a lot about us.
I'm a Cillian. You see, originally the Board, the cybernetic zombies that took over Pine Hill once or twice. Well, in another time. They originally were not the same as the ones they predated.
So you have told us.
Well, technically, if they were here on the Earth in the time of the Enterprise A, and in another timeline even earlier than that. Yeah, they do.
We're not here to discuss the Board. We need our crew back.
First, you will help me find my mate and my offspring.
We can help you find your progeny later.
The other creature that's like me, slightly more powerful actually, is called Charlie X.
We encountered him one time on the Cerritos. Has he been here ever since then?
I wouldn't know that.
This guy's trouble. Possibly a little nuts.
He will use everything at his disposal to keep his toys. He's extremely volatile.
His ursine spaceship does not have enough weapons to harm the Starship.
And that weird fungal infection, how does that work? Why are they drawn to it?
It's a coincidence. We were getting bombarded by the energy field from both ships. Somebody was bound to come under it.
It was just useful experience, team spirit.
We encountered that before.
Yes, but you likely didn't know who gave the people the idea.
Are you saying you knew about the mission to the planet Miriam? That's impossible.
I've been keeping an eye on the Chimera crew, your crew and the Adventures, in hope of one day meeting you. And now I'm here.
His wife and child are from that planet. That's why he's here.
It's a bit more complicated than that.
We need to get our people back.
We must get out of here.
But that creature will just whisk us back in here. I said some strange things back there. I didn't mean them. I'm sorry. That's okay. We'll always be besties. Sometimes you know me more than I know me. That's because you're not very observant. Just kidding. Sort of. I guess I was trying too hard.
I guess I was too.
You really are clueless, aren't you? No, I apologize to you as well. I shouldn't have been so hard on you.
But you've not been hard on me. That sounds a little cringe.
Their bonding moments are always cringe.
Hey.
I'm kidding. I like you. In an entirely hetero way, of course.
Sure you do.
Stop looking at me like that. Do you two need to get a room? No, I don't swing that way.
But I do. Oh my.
We should be able to figure this out. Half of us are our own counterparts. Nah, but Emoji's back on the ship. Somebody's on the other side.
I wonder who it is. Hey, you there. He got bored of me. He will get bored of you.
Are others looking for you?
My father, you have met.
It appears we found the missing man.
I think he made the station personnel disappear with his mind.
This Charlie Evans guy is like a Q. The Theresians gave him their powers.
No one has seen them in decades.
He is not a Q.
No, but he's a psychotic alien life form. Captain Kirk encountered him over 150 years ago.
Well, he was a humanoid once. The aliens changed him. Probably like they changed you.
He could destroy your ship and crew with a thought. How can you possibly stop him?
You survived.
Because I have something he needed. If he's using psychic powers, we could block them. Captain Kirk didn't know such things in his time. He found a way to tap into youthful exuberance. He captured a planet load of Gorgon young people and took them into space. That sounds a lot like something that Braun character did. at the direction of the Grandmaster de Orient de Keptera. It's another name for this other energy creature, the Gorgon.
I wasn't on the mission to the planet Miriam, however I read about it. They later found the people, the inhabitants, on another planet, light years from there, and freed them.
I was on the other planet. It was a few years ago. But there was no Charlie there. It was this Joshua Braun character.
I never quite figured that out.
He hopes to harness the Cillian powers and youthful exuberance, and once you're over 20, it's harder for them to get the power. What is it with Cillians and team spirit?
Makes sense if you say the Cillians are originally from high school and grew up.
I told them to grow up many times, and they did. They were of no help trying to stop the alien enemy while they abandoned us down here.
Well, you seem to get that a lot during our missions. Has it ever occurred to you that they didn't abandon you? They merely didn't know you were here.
But I don't blame them. We were unkind. We didn't like the imagination they were extruding. We tried to silence it. There was no use. Resistance was futile.
And you were not acting for the overlords.
I'm not the chief overlord. I'm the Borg king. Or I was.
It would help to know who you fell in love with. Was it somebody from this time? Then we can find them in the database.
Contrary to rumors, I did not end up with the Borg queen, Dawn Schnell.
You fell out of favor with her when you couldn't change the timeline.
Right, I couldn't change the timeline. We failed every time we tried to stop the Cillians.
Maybe you shouldn't have tried.
Perhaps, but right here, if this Charlie person gets bored of the other ones, he will make them go away too.
Well, if the incident happened and you procreated in 2381, your offspring would be at least 27.
No longer of use to this Charlie. Right. I don't know where my ex went, however, but I do suspect Charlie has my son. We must put together a rescue team consisting of those that Charlie cannot affect.
I will go. I don't belong here anyway, but I'll need some assistance. Open the artifact again, and I'd like to pull somebody out of it. You think one of your friends is in there? All right, you can go to the device and activate it.
What do you have in mind? Someone we don't know.
His name is Saru. From his perspective, he'll have just gotten here too.
Do it then. Saru, it's good to see you again.
How exactly did I get here?
You passed through an anomaly like I did, apparently from another slightly different universe, where your shuttle was obliterated trying to talk to a brain lady.
That'd be the brain prefect. Didn't work, did it?
Apparently not, but I also thought that I went on to live here for 30 more years and became an admiral of space and time, but it was all Cillian space.
An admiral? That is silly.
This time is different, and they need our assistance. Some of the crew was captured by a malevolent alien.
What timeline is this?
We seem to be early in the year 2407.
And the artifact that I came out of, that was the progenitor's tag.
The device opened and sent us back here, to where they were supposed to plant it.
What do you need me to do?
Your unique physiology will allow us to enter the Starship and rescue them.
And you're a Klingon, but do not look like the Klingons in our time.
They're more like the Hurk.
I have seen images of the Klingons of your time. They're another race of Klingons.
They're more like the Hurk.
I know that that answer is not satisfactory.
Just go.
So we're going to sneak aboard the alien ship. Is there anything about the enemy we should know about?
Yes, you must take me along. You can't beat this meeting. You're not one of my officers. There are no rogue agents from another timeline. Yes, but he won't be expecting me. They're going to be expecting agents from your time. The three of us will go.
Roger will accompany you.
To make sure the alien doesn't whisk us into space somewhere.
Can he do that with his personal transporter?
We'll explain later.
He hasn't come around in a while. That's okay, it's kind of annoying anyway. And now that we're here, I wonder why the spores wore off. It was probably the antidote.
That quickly?
Maybe the aliens did it, because we're already on the ship. I'm only sensing a single alien demigod here.
I didn't know you had powers.
I'm a Cillian. I have powers. They're just not as advanced as Charlie. She's the power of the side eye, as her mother does. Yes, one look at the side eye, and you're immediately ashamed, even though you didn't do anything. I think Kestra has that more than me. Haha. Someone is coming.
From over there.
Well, there. How'd you get in here? A magician never tells. The others came looking for us. I didn't know she could pass through walls. The others are here. I can explain later. Well, it does seem this is a little too easy.
It appears to be a trap for us as well.
Who's behind this?
Some malevolent alien.
Well, at least it wasn't a season-wide story arc about it. Get us out of here before he shows up. Right, we've created a little distraction.
The distraction should be happening about now.
If Maul does what she's told.
Come on, let's go. How can we come and go at the same time? I've always wondered about that.
I'll explain later. Let's go. Someone else is in here.
You have found me.
Soon-type android, but he won't tell us his name.
Speaking my name would summon the others.
Say your name 3 times? What are you, Beetlejuice?
Who? I take it you're not referring to the exploding star in the constellation Orion.
Never mind that.
Stop where you are. You can't have my toys.
People are not toys. You let us go because I said so.
Who are you to give me orders?
I'm a traveler from the future. I know what you're going to do before you do it.
You may be a traveler from the future, but I doubt you know what I'm going to do before I do it.
You were bored of me. You put me away like you did the others.
You've lost your mojo.
We were never an item.
That's an interesting twist. I would have never pegged him for that kind of relationship. I don't think that's it. I think it's more of a power struggle.
I followed you with your weird cult because I believed in you, just as I believed in the friendly angel.
The friendly angel was just using you. I give you powers and sustenance, physical abilities, but then you denied them and didn't want to use them.
Would you quit yapping? We gotta get out of here. Oh, the alien.
No, I'm in charge. I make you adults go away.
Charlie, you're clearly over 160 years old. It's time for you to grow up.
Oh, you shouldn't have said that.
Who are you to speak the words of Captain Kirk?
You want me to stun him?
Let us have some decorum. She didn't mean it like that.
When my series was ending, I knew it was time to move on. You must do the same. It is beneficial for you.
I suppose you're going to start whispering incoherently, as though you were in a stage room somewhere. That's what you do on that show.
Well, I can't help it if they keep ADRing me in post.
Wait a minute. If they ADR you, they're making you less mumbly. But somehow, when you're in the booth, you always go more so. It's dramatic tension.
No, it isn't. You just don't know how to enunciate. Which is weird, because normally in your other shows you do. Is it getting hot in here? I think you deliberately killed your own show, eh?
Stop it. You are stalling.
It appears they have become infected.
But how? They don't have the same physiology.
That is not how this works. You must be gone from here. You must go back. I do not want you anymore. I send you to your ship with him. Be gone.
Transporter. Get a lock on and energize.
Okay, would somebody mind explaining to me just what happened? I thought it'd be obvious.
He may be an alien demigod, but he's not terribly clever.
I can't believe he fell for that.
I can. He was rather incompetent. I just hope he doesn't figure it out and come looking for us.
We're back aboard the Legacy. So you tricked him into letting us go. Exactly. We made him think that we were infected with something else and he didn't want to catch it.
When he does figure it out, he'll be quite mad.
I used this device to travel through the wall.
Fascinating. Future tech. I'll have to take that back.
Well, we'll invent it eventually.
Roger's here too.
Found him. You found him.
The creature had me on a ship. You weren't even looking for me. I was looking for you. It just took a while. You were not. But for someone who's a gigantic space genius, you don't seem to know a lot about people. His mother and I were separated several years ago. I always wondered how that even worked.
This is confusing. How did Roger manage to procreate with one of those?
I'm adopted. I only have some of his DNA.
So he's less your daddy and more your sperm donor.
The Charlie alien was using me as a toy. I know that.
Charlie is going to sense that he's been tricked, and his prisoners have been taken.
I should run some sickbay tests and determine whether you're no longer infected, and to also scan the alien guest. We never got his name.
To speak my name is to conjure my side of the family.
Well, this should do it. A slight variation of the spore attack. Where did the variation come from? The other side of the quadrant, the Alpha Quadrant, a little planet system called Theseus, near Epsilon Indi. I was named for one of the planets there, but I'm from far out. You were born on a generation ship headed for far out. Yes, it arrived in the time of the 2360s. You still don't know how the alien was able to clear us up when we were on the ship. Perhaps closer proximity to the Mycelians is what did it.
So we're fit for duty.
I appear to be fine, and the symbiote as well. They used a contagion found on another planet, on the other side of the galaxy, well, quadrant. A very similar one.
Thankfully, I did not say my name. I would have summoned the creature, the Gorgon. And it would have come, and you would have been in trouble.
Well, obviously we can't remain here. If I'm a descendant of one of the Marshall Sportus people, then I must go back. I'd have to go back too. The problem is, there's another me over there.
We haven't solved this yet. The Charlie alien is still over there.
Foster, your people were from that part of the galaxy. What can you tell us about it? Not a whole lot. For well over 30 years, we've been exploring the galaxy since our time on the Andover. We would probably know about as much as you. The Gorgon is another reference to the original Star Trek. He was a creature that Captain Kirk encountered on the other side of the galaxy. He took over the children of a space colony and made their parents destroy themselves. That's rather like the 90s Pine Hill simulation we had on our ship. That can't be a coincidence. Not to mention also being like that mission where we found that Joshua Braun character and the children from Miriam's planet. Your people are just stalling. Does the alien really think that he will summon his people here by uttering his name?
Yes, that is what will happen. It has happened before.
His name is not important now.
We must prepare in case this Charlie decides to attack the ship. Report.
A Borg transwarp conduit just opened.
Red alert. Shields up.
The Borg. Why would they come here? They're probably after Roger. I sense a minimal crew on the cube. Summon Roger Math to the bridge.
The Borg ship is hailing.
On screen.
I am Shenalitus of Board. You will hand over the one called Roger Math, and the offspring, the bastard child. Resistance is futile. Wow, the Borg Queen! Predating the Borg Queen from Star Trek by several years. It's a pleasure to meet you. It is true. In the Star Trek universe, the Borg did not have a queen until the year 1996. Conversely, the year 2373. I was here before then, but I did not come to talk. Hand them over.
Oh my god, I didn't expect you to come looking for me.
You should have. How can she be the first Borg Queen? I don't know. Starfleet records are a little fuzzy on that.
We were kind of in the middle of something. Who called you?
One of the crew on the ship summoned me, but it makes no matter.
Well, it kind of does matter. There's a malevolent space creature out there. He trapped some of the crew, but we got him back.
But you are descended from the Cillian crew, but are not them. We have no quarrel with you. I've never directly meant to. The one called Alexander Rishenko is descended from the Cillian known as Worf.
Do you intend to assimilate us?
I do not. We have come because of a mutual understanding.
She wishes to continue our agreement.
Yes, our agreement.
You liked him once, didn't you? Yes, but I suspect the relationship was platonic. You must have a little beta Ziggy in you. Yes, it is true. I ended up following the wrong people. I told him to get lost.
Yeah, it's one of our teacher friends, an unnamed character. Turned out to be kind of a diddler.
I had no idea. I read about it in the big city papers in the 1990s. Then the next thing you know, the Star Trek people introduced the Borg Queen, and it wasn't me. Urgh! How dare they?
You do know those two things aren't connected, right?
I'm pretty sure the Borg Queen was played by Alice Creech, and Amy Wershing and Alison Pill. However, Amy Wershing died, but Silly Trek revived her, and then she returned as Creech. But the other one became a traveler. The Borg cannot die. Amy Wershing would have been taken to be with the travelers.
I'm not handing him over.
You have no choice. My drones will begin assimilating the crew, starting with the bridge, until you all surrender him to me.
Her type of Borg assimilation is far sillier than the kind the real Borg. Proximity alert. It's the giant Teddy Ruxpin spaceship moving into attack range.
That creature is no match for the Borg.
I will return with my son to the ship and fend that thing off.
How noble of you, since you're probably the one that started the mess in the first place.
Why you? I did this to stop out the imagination of the others.
Why would you do that? It's like you read it in a book somewhere. Thought it would be a good idea. I will go. I will give you approximately 10 minutes to come up with a solution. We don't have time for a counseling session right now.
We are being hailed at Charlie. On screen.
I see, Captain Mariner, that you've brought in more of your friends, but it'll do you no good. And I do need more toys for my collection.
You cannot control this power. We have to take it from you.
No, the devices are mine. Everything here is mine.
The Iota Leonis star system is a sovereign star system. You cannot control it.
I will do what I want. I will summon demons of air and darkness.
I think you grossly overestimate your power, boy.
We shall see, old man.
Mariner, transport me to his bridge.
You won't do that.
You just want to run away from your responsibility with the alien child thing. I won't do it.
He is manipulating you, Captain.
He is. Oh, man. He's a brat.
Sure seems like it.
I'm older than you. Not more mature, no.
If you won't transport me, I'll go myself.
I came as fast as I could.
I tried to stop him.
I changed my mind. I decided that I must imprison you again.
Say my name. Ah, very well. Moonchild.
Moonchild? You named him after a character from an imagination book in the 80s. Are you sure you don't like imagination?
Only when it's mine. I was feeding the Star Trek people the Cillian information all those years ago. Well, me and Dawn. It was you. Somehow you gave the idea to Morris Hurley to make the Borg. It was me. Did you think that Sam Clark was even capable of doing that?
If what he says is true, then the entire crossover that created the Cillian universe was kind of his doing. Couldn't possibly all be him, though. Ironically, by trying to stamp out the imagination and whimsy, he inadvertently caused the imagination and whimsy to happen.
It was the Grandmaster Dr. Kim, who said your thoughts create reality in 1988. But you borrowed that from a Korean book.
Enough foolishness. Either come along quietly, or it will break all of the toys.
The teddy bear spaceship has become weapons active.
It's a paradox, like the one that the Enterprise D encountered several decades ago, when for some reason the starbase was in this system, and yet thousands of light years away. Summon Michael and Saru to the bridge.
Yes, sir.
The system is like nothing you've seen. There are anomalous readings here. It is a gateway to other places, other sides.
You can't see fourth dimensionally. You're making that up.
I send you away. No, I send you to me.
He has transported Roger off the ship.
And now I will destroy you with this ship, just as the early Freddy Ruxpin nearly destroyed the Enterprise D.
The firepower detected on that ship is impossible.
That thing is crazy. You just noticed.
I believe the anomalies are generating his power. We can send some of us over there, we can turn it off, and his powers would be weakened.
Thank you for telling me in advance.
Oh crap, I whispered that out loud.
Saru, Burnham, and Maul, beam over to the artifact. They'll never get through this metal shield, not without one of us. I will go.
If this is your attempt to get out of our engagement, you're being silly.
I'll be back, I promise. The alien is tearing a hole in the fabric of space-time.
The larger of the two stars is acting really strange, kind of falling off the main sequence. It's impossible.
I will go with Wilson. No, you can't leave me here. It's better this way. Don't worry. Jeremy will eventually calm me. We gotta do this. My symbiote knows a way. Very well. Transport the two parties to the different artifacts.
I am detecting inflated levels of energy creatures and things heading this way. It's Gorgon technology. If you're going to do it now. Energize. The system is in temporal flux. It's going to go nova. We'll be obliterated.
Prepare the slipstream drive and wait until the last possible moment.
You can't leave. I make you come and go. What is he doing?
Some of us just beamed over to the alien station.
Not Tam. I'm afraid so. Why didn't you stop her?
Don't worry about it. I'm sure she knows what she's doing. You don't need to follow her anymore.
I was not. The enemy ship is turning to fire some kind of energy beams. Shields down by 30%.
Really? What did he hit us with?
He's firing again. Shields down by 25 more percent.
We need a full scan of that thing, where its weak spots. Maybe we can hit the damaged areas and make it break out the attack. The board ship is attacking, firing at its face.
It is turned to fight the board ship. Arm quantum torpedoes and fire into its dislocated eye.
They're moving in, firing weapons from other parts of it. The ship has activated several small drones that are turning on the artifacts and opening fire. Put us between them and the artifact. Prepare to transport our people out.
It appears the Iota Leonis system is going to go nova. We will be destroyed.
Full weapons spread. Fire in the control area.
Torpedoes away, phasers away.
That Roger guy is over there with his son. Well, I hope he figures out a way to beam himself out of there.
The board ship is targeting that area as well. Transport detected.
Roger and the son were beamed off that ship. Destroy that thing.
Very well. It's too bad, because it was kind of cute. Fire.
Why, you insufferable little brat. Why, thank you. Now your toys belong to me. They do not. None of this does. Those artifacts will blow up in your face. I must end these creatures. They destroyed my ship. They blew up my giant teddy bear ship. I must end them. I must condemn them forever. I see the Thasians were right. You should be banished to the other realm for all time. And I banish the star system. I wish the two stars to explode now and transform them into singularities. Didn't the report say that the artifact was originally found at a double singularity? It did. Can't be a coincidence.
The other space toys. They're moving this way and armed to explode.
That is the singularities don't destroy us first. We cannot stop this. We're non-corporeal. However, we can take Charlie to our realm. We'll never bother you again.
That's a pleasant thought, Mr. Gorgon. Take him away.
No, not that. No, no!
Singularities will be on us in moments. We'll be obliterated.
Power up the slipstream drive. The artifacts are being absorbed by the singularities. The board ship is moving to assist.
Wilson is sending us a signal. We can't get to it. Tam is also.
Hail the board ship and ask for help. There's little time. They must transport them now.
The system is destroying itself. We need to get out of here now.
The artifacts are being absorbed by the singularity. The board ship is moving to assist. Take us to the conduit. Warp speed now. The board ship is pursuing.
They might still be over there. We gotta go back for them.
There's no time. The star system is destroyed.
I hope she knows what she's doing. Slipstream drive now. Where are we going?
We appear to be caught in the corridor. Hang on.
Status report. Is everyone alright?
Everyone appears to be fine. Damage to the ship in the battle is only damage we sustained. Minor scrapes and bruises.
Wilson.
Tomorrow.
We appear to be next to the star system J25, 7,000 light years from the Earth's solar system. In the Delta Quadrant.
A year-long trip back at high warp with the slipstream drive.
We are being hailed. It is the board ship.
Open a channel.
I am Shanaltus of Borg. You have arrived through the corridor in Borg space. Normally you would surrender your vessel. However, under those circumstances, that'd be unrealistic. Hello, Captain. Being transported to a Borg ship is certainly different. I don't think this ever happened before, that they saved a Federation person. Where's Chimera Tal? She didn't come over too? Oh dear.
I guess she really wanted to get away from me. I don't blame her, but not like this.
I don't think it had anything to do with you. We can discuss it later. I was not able to retrieve Roger or the child from the space anomaly. His child is almost 30 years old. The Gorgon aliens apparently captured Charlie, and he will not be returning. That's what Kirk thought when the Thasians took him that one time. Very well. Transported our people here, and we'll get on our way.
Very well. Energize.
I'm still here. I wasn't destroyed.
Well, I was, but I came back together.
Now, what are we going to do? So we're adrift in a singularity somewhere, for all time. No, for me, it'll be about 500 years, I estimate. What are you talking about? Well, at some point, I do escape this, because in the future, I'm great. I get out, as you know. So a part of me really did live that other life. We're just copies out here right now.
Yeah, we're all copies of copies. Fakes. Isn't that wonderful?
You can all bring Fantasia back if you speak my name.
That's not actually going to work, kid.
Moonchild. It didn't work.
Oh, so it did not.
The missing station personnel are over that ridge. A lot of good it's going to do us. The Argelian system is destroyed.
Wait a minute. Doesn't that create a paradox?
Not necessarily. Only I'm supposed to be out here for 500 years in limbo. Because of a typo. And also that thing about Calypso and the ship. That was the typo. It shouldn't have been the 3190s. If you ask me, that whole series was a typo.
Greetings, Michael Burnham, Malaria Booker, Saru, and Tamara Tall. Welcome to Wonderland, Fantasia, or whatever this is. I have a mission for you. Yes, come along. There's no time to waste.
Huh, Jake Sisko's a traveler. Didn't see that coming.
Let us go.
Captain's log supplemental. Having arrived at the edge of the Delta Quadrant, it seemed apropos that we should go exploring since we've never been here. So let us begin our adventures, boldly going where no one dared go before. Status report.
Repairs are underway. The crew has been returned, well, most of them.
The Borg ship is out there, at a safe distance.
Tamara wasn't supposed to disappear yet.
Maybe we're in a different timeline.
Probably, but we'll never know. If it was her time, then she'll be gone longer than our lifetimes. All because of a typo on the Discovery TV show. Now, I don't want to think about that. Hertzman and Riker set a course for home.
Aye, sir. Aye, sir.
Come dream with me tonight.
What did you say, Captain?
Nothing, Commander. Engage.
Oh, I see.
I'll explain that one later, too.
Da-da-dun, da-dun, dun, 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 dun.